Hi, I'm Wes Mukai. So I'm the Vice President of Software Engineering for Rockwell Automation. In terms of my career, I started as an industrial engineer and moved in a variety of different ways. I went from industrial engineer to manufacturing engineer to management consultant, product management, product marketing, and then back into engineering and leadership in the engineering area. And it's been a variety of companies from small startups to consulting firms to enterprise software and hardware companies throughout my career.
Excellent. Hi, my name is Punita Miller and I work at Rockwell Automation. I've been there for almost 15 years and I've been blessed to have a wonderful career there. I started off as an intern and then moved on to a training, kind of like a trainee position, got to travel the US and the world in that position. And then I was a product specialist in the product marketing space. I was a product manager. And then I moved in more of that kind of commercial technical space and led a team of commercial engineers. And currently I am a tech consultant manager. So I have, tech engineers, technical engineers who report to me. And, we help out our customers to understand complex applications and, how we can help them resolve their problems. So looking forward to being here in this interview.
Okay, Punita, so I guess we're supposed to pick questions, right? So let me grab the first question. Let's see what it says. Okay, so what skills surprised you as being most important as you advanced in your career?
Ooh. So a couple of skills come to mind. Right now, I think I'm going to go with the first one here. And I think this is going to be something that people will expect, right? I'm just going to say it. I think networking. And I know sometimes networking has this connotation of, oh, it's like going to an event and, making small talk. And then it's just kind of like too schmoozy. But what I've come to learn from networking is it's not that. It is going somewhere where you're genuinely interested in the person you're talking to. You want to learn about them. You want to learn from them. Whether that's someone who has, more career, experience than you, or even someone who's newer in, the tech industry, you're going to learn something that'll help you grow and develop as well. So I think networking might be one that I'd say, maybe I need to think of a different word, but networking might be the one.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
Well, networking's always been hard for me, sort of being a little introverted. So, but from skills, for me, what surprised me was, I said I started as a manufacturing and sort of an industrial engineer. And I thought back early in my career, I got to go really deep into that. And I'll just progress in my career, go really deep into an engineering or manufacturing, wherever it would take me. And it was very surprising after time. I kept switching different types of functions. And actually it ended up being good. And it sort of matched the way the world changes very quickly, so maybe sometimes I need to use product management skills or sometimes engineering. And even as I started to become a leader, I think more and more being able to bounce between different functions, because every day sort of you have to use these different skills. So it turned out being a little broader was okay. I didn't have to be so nervous about maybe I don't know too much about each area, but okay, I can touch these areas. So that ended up being pretty surprising, and still today I think it's paying off.
Absolutely, I so agree with that, right? I mean, I think it's that diversity of skills that makes a leader, right? I think that's really good.
Well, and actually more and more with the AI world coming,
yes.
I think you really got to be able to kind of bridge and do a lot of different skills.
Absolutely.
It's hard to predict.
And one thing did come to my mind as well in terms of this question. I think one thing when we think of leaders, we just assume, they're perfect, they're infallible, like that's the kind of person I want to be around. And I think that's very true, and that those are qualities you need to have. But I also think as a leader, what surprised me is having the ability to fail. Mm-hmm. We learn so much through our failures, and I don't think that there's a negative connotation around failure, but I don't think that's really how we should be looking at it, right? It's fail fast, learn something, take that, and you just become a stronger and better leader. Would you agree with that from your experience?
Yeah, and it's different parts of your career, right? Obviously, everybody's got their own profile of taking risk or failing, but within your day or whatever, you can manage that. So feel free, like in your young in the career, you can take risk. but it depends on your personality, and that's why things like community and your friends, you can get there's always folks to lean on as you want to take risk in your career at different phases. It doesn't always have to be in the beginning when you're young, or later in your career. You can take risk. Feel free to fail.
Exactly. As long as you are doing what you're doing with good justification and it's ethical, make all the mistakes you want. Sure. Right?
Well, you want to
let's go to the next one. All right. Okay, Wes, get ready. How do you foster a culture of innovation in your organization? How does that contribute to the tech ecosystem in Milwaukee?
Okay, so culture of innovation. So I mentioned I sort of manage broad teams, engineering, and so I have a lot of managers, pretty global. One of the things, I guess, one thing I really find about fostering culture, to me, you can really set some stretch goals for the group. Okay, that really kind of makes it so you have to kind of think out of the box. So that first thing, set little bit of stretch goals, not so easy. And then I try to think of it like who, what, when, like the 5 W's or whatever. But what, right? Okay, there's some task you're trying to do, some goal. But really in the how and the who, I kind of leave it up to folks to kind of think about ways to do it, right? And innovate within the how, or innovate within the who. And so for the how, it could be, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do it the way I like to do it. So maybe I need to do a new process or use some new tools. We talked about AI a little bit. I got to use AI now to innovate or come up with a new idea. So try not to lock folks in. Okay, here's exactly how you do it. Try not to micromanage through that. Now the who, it's really interesting. Sometimes you have to use partners. You can't do everything yourself when you want to innovate. And so this is a startup, incubator, right? So if you want to use the bigger, broader community in terms of startups, partners, other groups within your company, leverage those different groups to really think of new ideas. And not everything has to be done by yourself or your team. And so that really helps foster sort of innovation broader than just your own single idea. Open it up for folks.
Absolutely.
How about you?
No, that's such a great answer. Yeah, and I think just to add on to that too, I think at our company, Rockwell Automation, innovation is one of the key pillars. And we have so many avenues to innovate and foster that culture. We have innovation programs and things like that. And one of the ways that I, foster that culture is, especially when I have early career people or interns, especially, when they join my team, I encourage them to join the innovation program. In addition to the work that I'm giving them, I say, hey, carve out as much time as you want. Hopefully not more than 4 hours a week, 10% of your time, focused on innovation activities, right? How can we make some process better at Rockwell? How can we, are there features that we can add to a product that would make our customers' lives even easier, or UX, or whatever that is, right? Giving them the freedom to innovate and come up with some great ideas. And that's been really great. A lot of the early career folks jump on that. They love that. They've got the energy. And I've seen that through our careers as well. Like, with not just the early career people, there's also people all across the spectrum there. And then, how I think that helps a local community is those interns, right, that come and work at Rockwell, and they see the innovation program that they did and worked on this project. Well, they take that thought process back when they go to school. I would love for them to come work at our company and continue to contribute. But if they choose to go somewhere else, they still have that innovation that stays in this local community, right? And so that's kind of, how I view us, doing our part as fostering innovation, not only in our company, but in our community as well.
How you mentioned, you talked about risk, fear of failing, and that it is important to really think about, how do I make you successful in your career and take risk? And it may not be within your company, right? It could be, hey, move on, the best role for you, maybe try this other startup or move outside. And that actually, it comes around, right? And so it really helps get new ideas out there, and you feel really free to, even if you weren't successful here, hey, you can be successful somewhere else. I'll see that when I partner with you later, I'll have a network, right? And so there's a way, it's a little more freeing than feeling like I need to work for this company forever. I can't fail at all because, I'm going to be blacklisted in my own company, right? So really trying to set a culture where people are okay. And I always talk about it to my teams, make sure I'm pretty conscious about it where you don't, even if somebody does make a mistake or fail, you don't overemphasize it, and don't, especially in the broader forums, make people feel comfortable. Oh, it's okay. Hey, it didn't work out this time. What would you do next time? That kind of culture. It's very, very tactical type stuff, but it builds when people see it.
Yes.
So,
okay.
What's next?
I think you'd go next.
Oh my God, this is a long one.
Oh, long one. All right.
Okay, the term small walkie is often used to describe the phenomenon that Milwaukee, despite being a major city, has a small town feel where everyone seems to know everyone. What is your small walkie experience?
Oh, wow.
So small walkie.
Oh, that's a good question. It definitely is small walkie. Right now, it's coming to my mind. Actually, a couple of things are coming to my mind. One is a personal story that I'll just put out there. At work, I work at Rockwell Automation. I made a really good friend, and through him, I met another couple who my husband and I became very good friends with, and then they knew another couple who knew another couple who were the parents of my daughter's friend from school. And so I invited this, 6 degrees of separation over to my house for dinner, and we just had such a wonderful time. And that just to me is a wonderful personal story about a small walkie. Like, you are connected to pretty much everyone, in the community. So that was just a really hilarious personal example. But professionally, also I'm thinking, it really is small walkie. There's some great multinationals that are based in Milwaukee, and it's such a great, we really have an impact globally in this small community that we are in. And so, I work with people throughout my career, whether that's been, at Rockwell or other places I've worked. And, there's obviously shifts and people go to other companies, and that's now part of our network, and that's Milwaukee, right? So the other day I went to an event at another company, and there I saw a couple of friends who I had worked with before. And it was so great connecting with them, hearing about their career and the impact they're making. And that just really made it feel like, small walkie. So it's a good feeling. Yeah, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think I mentioned this in my intro, but I've actually just moved to Milwaukee since April. So it's probably been like 5-6 months. I originally am from San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley. And so I've mostly on the personal front sort of experienced the summer and trying to get to know the city better. And a couple of things I can think about. So that Summerfest, everyone always, go to the Summerfest. I went to that, and one of the things I noticed, and I also went to the county fair, or the state fair, right? The state fair, right, which is not too far away. And in both instances, physically, the space is really thin. It's long and thin. The Summerfest, you feel like, I can't, it's not very thick, but it's thin. You walk down, and same was with the state fair. And it kind of forces you to kind of, get to know each other better, it feels like. And then as I got to know the geography better, it feels like whether it's the lake, and then there's rivers and the highways, it kind of forces, I think the geography kind of forces things to be a little thinner and longer. And so I've noticed it made it a lot easier for me as I try to get to know the neighborhoods. Everything seems to be about 15-20 minutes apart, and it's not too hard to navigate. Like in California, things kind of sprawl a little bit more. And so you kind of, I don't know which direction to go. And so to me, it's really felt small because I can just focus on one direction, not go the other way. Physically. And then, there's a lot of small neighborhoods. I've spent a lot of time in Minneapolis, and they have a lot of those small neighborhoods, so it feels like that. It also feels a little bit like Chicago, the way the geography is with the lake and everything. So a lot of touch points that made it feel, I know the area.
Yeah.
And so that's really been my experience.
Yeah, no, you bring an interesting perspective coming from the West Coast, and it definitely just feels a little different here. But yeah, it definitely is small Milwaukee, right? Small Milwaukee, we have that here.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see something about that, but that's fine. I missed that. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh, it's my turn. Yeah. All right, Mr. West, what role do you see yourself or your company playing in shaping Milwaukee's tech future?
Yeah, so I just came to Milwaukee, but I've worked with Rockwell for about 5 years. And, I really see my role in Rockwell is how do I transform the company? So I think of, Rockwell is an industrial manufacturing company, kind of start more hardware, but how do I move from a hardware company, transform it to a more software company? And then in the software space, even how do I think of transforming from software to cloud, enterprise software, cloud, and then from cloud now to like AI related technology, all these transformations. And I think given my background, I think I can really help lead the company in those different directions and transform it. And I really think, as far as the community, I think Rockwell's really well known in the Milwaukee area, right? Physically, you can see the building and everyone seems to know somebody that works there. But, it's really, how do you, I really think of it, I need to transform it to a tech company, right? Because it's unavoidable. Every company needs to be like a tech company. And as such, then, if you're a tech company, then it's like, how can we be a leader? And then also start to attract a lot of the tech people, work on very forward-looking new technologies, whether it's hardware, software. And so I think by being in the community, well-known, transforming to a tech company, then I think it's really going to help bring up the whole community in terms of technology. It's really create a better bond between the company and the community, maybe a different bond than what people are used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, our organization does such a good job in that perspective. And also, one of the things that we do is we have a lot of great programs at Rockwell that really promote STEM, right? Like we've got this Pathways program that's for high school students. So as early as high school, they come in the company and they're doing summer internships, and they even get 401ks since they're starting at, freshman year of high school. So by the time they actually start,
I don't even know what a 401k is.
Yeah, they've got 4 years in. It's amazing, so that's the impact we make locally, right? We're at that level, right? We do a lot of stuff bringing in middle schoolers and elementary schools to do a tour of our factory, right? We, of course, do a lot of great internships at our company, STEM technical focused, but then also for, business and marketing and finance. There's just so much there. So I think our company is just doing such a wonderful job of, planting the seeds of tech and the future of automation, not just obviously within our four walls, but within the community. And that's why I just feel so proud of the company I work for, and just it's a purpose that I believe in, right?
Yeah, and also community, one of the things, because I noticed in the area, a lot of colleges, right? Different types. And because it's sort of, really, cost of living's low, right? So I think it's pretty attractive, right? So not only getting people in those programs you mentioned, but even as you think about colleges, people going to colleges or starting families, doing, moving on in their life. There's a lot in the community that I think create a lot of good intersection between our company.
Absolutely.
And I was reading some article. Oh, this is the up and coming city, right? Of mix of affordability and tech and et cetera. So that's pretty exciting.
I love that. And that was one of the things I was going to say about it came to my mind when you talked about Milwaukee, but we are such a small Milwaukee, but it's big enough where you get all the amenities of a big city. Like if you want, Korean food or karaoke, you can find that here, but you don't have to deal with the traffic that some of the big metropolitans have to deal with, or the population, right? So it's such a wonderful mix. And then we're also not so isolated. Like if you want a big town weekend.
They have the big time sports. Big time sports is big for me.
That's right. Chicago's an hour and a half away. Go get your big city film and come back to Milwaukee and, feel like you're in a city, but also you don't have the, some of those kind of difficulties, if you will, that come with a bigger city. So, Milwaukee.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, well, this is so wonderful chatting with you, Wes. Yeah, great.